Speaking notes of opposition leader and UNC political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessar, MPSC, at the Town Hall meeting, Hillview College, Thursday, the 17th of April, 2025. I want to deal with 3 issues tonight: pornography epidemic and sexualization of children, gambling addiction and marijuana addiction, and depression, mental illness, and suicides. Pornography epidemic and sexualization of children. The increase in sexual abuse in our society over the past decade has many reasons. 2 of the main drivers are the sexualization of children by adults and the pornography epidemic. The innocence of childhood is being destroyed with an overload of sexual content being made available to children. Over-sexualized content is directed at children as young as 5 years old through video games, television shows, cartoons, movies, advertisements, and social media. Individuals are also exposing children to sexually charged conversations, innuendo, music, dancing, and behaviors. It is not uncommon to see adults engaging in sexually suggestive and inappropriate behaviors in public or private events in the presence of teenagers and children. Individuals, and some in society, are coercing children to appear sexually attractive and engage in behaviors that are not age-appropriate for the proper mental development of children. Our boys and girls are being groomed through self-objectification, and adults exploit this. Teens are facing pressure to become sexually active at younger ages because of poor social values. 13-year-old girls and boys are encouraged to look like sexually active 25-year-olds. Sexually overt behavior targeted at children has become normalized because hypersexualized media content and advertisers now determine social values. And to compound this sexualization of children, there is an epidemic of pornographic addiction affecting both children and adults. Pornography addiction is a severe issue that should not be taboo for discussion. As compared to decades ago, pornography is readily available on various internet platforms. Pornography addiction is similar to other addictions and can have debilitating effects. In addition to mental issues, socialization is affected, and individuals' expectations of sexual relationships become skewed, which often leads to sexual violence. Pornography addiction is the fastest growing addiction in the world. It has become a silent epidemic for adults and children. During COVID lockdowns and extended periods at home, pornography viewing by children and adults skyrocketed, and this would have been one factor contributing to the increased cases of sexual abuse. There were media reports of over 2,000 cases of sexual abuse of girls and 500 cases of sexual abuse of boys being made to the Children's Authority between 2020 and 2021, the COVID years. Trinidad and Tobago is under siege from a myriad of crime issues. We cannot reduce sexual crimes without publicly acknowledging the driving factors behind them, even if it is an uncomfortable discussion. I, therefore, call on any willing stakeholder to come together with the UNC to begin discussions on social, legislative, and educational interventions to address the pornography epidemic and the exploitative sexualization of children. Gambling addiction and marijuana addiction. A main driver of crime and gang-related activity is the war for control of drug and gambling turf. This government legalized marijuana without putting in place all the necessary controls and have not fully regulated gambling despite repeated promises to do so. Gambling and marijuana addiction are wreaking destruction in the lives of many young people across our nation. Gambling and marijuana addiction affect all social classes among our young people. Concerning marijuana, there are no legal dispensaries and no consistent monitoring of the quality or origin of supply. In place of legal dispensaries, people are buying on the street corner from drug pushers. The marijuana is often laced with cocaine, and there is no consistency in the THC levels. That is what gangs are fighting for: control of these corners. This government created this problem. Gambling addiction is also wreaking immense havoc in the lives of citizens across our nation. addiction. In addition to fueling crime, it is contributing to business bankruptcies, relationship breakdowns, domestic violence, child neglect, mental problems, financial losses, and a range of other negative issues. The government has repeatedly promised, budget after budget, that the gambling industry would be fully regulated, but nothing has been done. Of particular concern are signs that adolescents and young adults are seamlessly transitioning from video gaming to gambling upon reaching the legal age of 18 years and heavy marijuana use. The human brain finishes developing and maturing in the mid to late 20s. The prefrontal cortex is one of the last parts to mature and is responsible for self-awareness, the capacity for complex planning, problem-solving, learning and memory, personality expression, decision-making, and modulation of social behavior. Concerning gambling, the UNC believes it is time to open the conversation to discuss raising the permissible legal age to participate in gambling to 25 years and over. We will also fully implement and operationalize the Gambling Control Act, introduce an extensive educational program regarding gambling addiction. Concerning marijuana use, the UNC has put out a manifesto for expanding the cannabis industry for revenue generation. In it, we commit to regulating the industry properly with proper quality controls and standards for public safety. We also believe it's important to drive educational programs about the positive and negative effects of marijuana usage so persons can make a choice that best suited to them. Depression, mental illness, and suicides. Suicidal depression involves a kind of pain, terror, and hopelessness that is difficult to describe. Suicidal depression is a state of numbness, paralyzing fear, and relentless despair. The things that you most love in life is stripped away. You become a shell of yourself, like a zombie, waking up each day and just waiting to go back to sleep at night. And all day you are living in terror as to what will happen in the next hour or day or week. To do anything, you have to summon maximum effort and willpower, sometimes just to eat. Everything is maximum effort all day and throughout the night. There appears to be hopelessness and nothingness. The burden you know yourself to be to others is insufferable combined with the mania that may accompany depression. The psychological stress manifests in irritability, feelings of nervousness, mood swings between anger and sadness, low mood, crying, sleeplessness or fatigue, rage, nausea, eating disorders, emotional numbness. These symptoms eventually contribute persistent anxiety, depression, reduction in mental acuity and social relationships, leading to thoughts of helplessness and suicide. Stress interacts with depression, but mental illness, especially depression or bipolar disorder, are major contributors to suicides. When mental illness is accompanied by alcohol and drug abuse, the risk of suicide and violence against others increases dramatically. And I come across many cases like these as many people contact my office for help. An example was one of our activists trying to assist a family with a 32-year-old son with serious mental condition, violent tendencies, warded at San Fernando General Hospital, Ward 1. The parents were advised to place him in a home permanently. However, there were limited options, as few homes would accept him, given the risk of keeping such a patient. The public health system presently does not have a place to support such cases, and families who have to cope with this doesn't accept referrals from RHAs outside its boundaries. I also get many requests for financial and psychological assistance from persons suffering from domestic violence, persons who are living in fear because of their sexuality, people with disabilities, parents with children, special needs, etc. People are facing more physical, emotional, and psychological stresses than they ever had. People are hoping that the state will eventually do more to provide relief, but stress about their immediate futures are causing persons to commit acts of violence on their relatives, as people who are stressed and depressed are not easy to be with or to communicate with. Tonight I want to hear your opinions on this matter and the previous two I mentioned. We as a society need to have these conversations to protect the mental health of our citizens and bring back happiness to our country. This election is about you, your issues, and your health. Forget the smears, insults, and divisive talk. Let's deal with the real issues.